Hey everyone, so I was actually going to do a Cafe Astro Athens for this video, but I decided just to do like my originals because I currently, it's the end of the day, I do not have coffee to represent this asteroid. So I still want to talk with you guys about it. So I poured myself a nice glass of Prosecco. So cheers to that, a little more casual Cafe Astro Athens happening. So the asteroid that's passing by Earth next Wednesday, I've been getting a lot of questions about. And that's because, it's ending up in the news as potentially hazardous. It's, within a specific parameter. Like, how do we know if it's going to collide with Earth? So this object is known as 1998 OR2. And it was actually discovered in 1998. And that second flyby is what we're going to be seeing next Wednesday. Now, the asteroid itself is going to be coming by within about 4 million miles from the Earth's surface. So that's about 6 million kilometers from the Earth's surface. And that technically is within the parameters of being considered a potentially hazardous asteroid. Now that's potentially hazardous, and that's because whenever it's within 5 million miles from the Earth's surface, then this is when a lot of programs that are part of the planetary protection programs actually go into being able to track this asteroid and being on top of it and making sure that it's on its trajectory, and then, we don't have to worry about it colliding with Earth. Not only is it considered potentially hazardous because it's coming close to Earth, but also because of its size. It's said to be around 500 feet in size, which is about 152 meters. And although this is quite large, and everybody at Arecibo Observatory is tracking its trajectory, making sure that it's, gonna be in the clear and that we're fine, it's actually not the biggest asteroid that's ever come by Earth before. The biggest asteroid is 3122 Florence, which is 1981 ET3. Really, really long name. I know, acronyms. And actually, this isn't even an acronym. It's just numbers and letters. But it was discovered in 1981. That's when the flyby was, hence the 1981 written there. And that ET, I feel like, probably is for extraterrestrial. But this is what it looked like. And that actually was quite large. It was between 4,000 meters to 9,000 meters in size. So that was a really, really large asteroid. 3122 Florence actually came by Earth September 1st, 2017. And it's going to be coming back again in 2057 on September 2nd. And it's actually expected to come quite closer to Earth, but not as close as what this asteroid next Wednesday is going to be. So the asteroid for next Wednesday, 1998 OR2, is expected to come by Earth at around 4 million miles from the Earth's surface, but it's going to be coming back in 2079 about 3.5 times closer to Earth. So it's super important for the researchers that are actually tracking this asteroid and checking on its trajectory to make sure that their measurements are correct, because this will help future humans in 2079 to be able to make sure that when this asteroid does approach closer to Earth, that it's not going to be colliding with Earth. There's constantly asteroids being flung in and out of our solar system. And most of the time that's because of the asteroid belt located between Mars and Jupiter. Actually, let me get my whiteboard and draw this out for you guys. We've got the sun. This is not going to be to scale, by the way. And then Mercury, Venus, the Earth, Mars, Jupiter. And then Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Okay. So, now what's happening is, so let's say Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Okay. Between Mars and Jupiter is the asteroid belt. Now, this is super important to keep in mind because most of the asteroids that are actually coming towards Earth or, within the inner solar system, it's because they've gotten flung out from the gravitational effect of Jupiter. Whoops, marker cap. They've gotten flung out. So sometimes the gravitational effects of Jupiter can be so powerful that it can cause like one asteroid to fling towards the inner solar system, hence passing by Earth. And when that happens, there's so many asteroids here. It can cause craters like what we've seen on Mars, like we've seen on the moon, even like what we've seen here on Earth. And that is so important. That's why we need a planetary protection program. And we have that, but, having more programs is so vital because, an asteroid is likely what caused the dinosaurs to go extinct, so we clearly don't want our own species to go extinct. So the fact that there's so many asteroids here that so many times can be flung in and out of the solar system, you know, they're always flying in and out. So now as for 1998 OR2, that's, you know, likely got flung out from the asteroid belt, from out in space. I mean, it's possible that it's come from maybe the Kuiper belt, which is all the way out here, just past Neptune. But, you know, we're able to figure out, and usually astronomers are able to detect whether or not it's actually from within our solar system based on, like, you know, the trajectory that it's moving at, also based on its shape, based on what elements it's actually made up of. But most of the time it is based on its speed and its trajectory. It's moving close to about 1,941 miles per hour. So that's actually just around 4,000 kilometers per hour that it's moving at. And based on its speed and also its trajectory, astronomers are able to determine that it must be from within our solar system. So we've got that orbit of Mercury, the orbit of Venus, orbit of Earth, and of course Mars. And I'm going to actually stop at Jupiter just because that's like right where the asteroid belt is. So that's likely where the asteroid itself came from. But it's flinging through interstellar space. Graph that I'm sharing now with you guys. So I'm just trying to like figure out, okay, so it looks like as if it's crossing over the Mars orbit and does not cross just past Venus. So it's not getting pulled in so much by the sun's gravity to the point where it will actually, you know, affect the orbit of Venus or Mercury, but it does intersect the Venus of Mars. And that is something to keep in mind because Mars is relatively close to Earth. And looking at this here, it seems like as if it's really coming from the inner solar system, crossing by the orbit of Earth, as well as the orbit of Mars, and then flinging back out into space. And then, of course, coming back, you know, by 2079, as I said earlier, and being about 3.5 times closer. So I'm wondering is, it doesn't look as close to Mars, but based on Mars orbit, I wonder if I'm curious to see what the data is going to be when the astronomers figure out its trajectory exactly. Is I wonder if it's going to be coming close to a collision with Mars. Just, you know, looking at this graph, that the simulation that they've been able to draw up based on, you know, its path, based on the direction it's going to be moving in. So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be really cool as far as the research goes, with it being visible in the night sky. Looking at this image here with you guys, which is showing the path in which we'll be able to see the asteroid 1998 OR2. And it looks like it's going to be right between the two constellations, Hydra and Entelea. So I was actually reading on space.com that as long as you have like a clear night sky and at least a 6 or 8 inch telescope, you should be able to see the asteroid. Now this says that its closest approach is going to be at 5:56 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So if you guys want to figure out where in the night sky that's located, depending on where you are on our nice, lovely planet Earth, I'm going to draw it out for you guys. I actually just decided to Google the constellation Antlia to just figure out where exactly it's going to be placed at 5:56 a.m. So, you know, typically during twilight, it's right when the sun, like right after the sun is already set, you're going to see in the eastern sky, the stars starting to rise and the constellations rising. So it's actually says that the Antlia constellation is going to cross the meridian. Now, this is on April 5th. So the meridian is just overhead. It's actually going to cross by at 9 p.m. Now, again, this is depends on like what location you are on Earth. So whenever you guys look that up online as far as where you're going to be facing, you're going to want to check just at what time it's going to be crossing by the meridian. And then depending on that, it's going to, you know, likely be over, you know, setting somewhere on the west side. But it is going to be further south. So you will likely want to be looking in the southwest region of the sky early in the morning at that time around 5:56 a.m. to try to find this asteroid. So at least that's for where I am out here in like central time out in the US. So really depends on where exactly you guys are. But there are some awesome apps that I use on my phone to track the constellations if you don't feel like trying to like calculate all of it and use a star map. There are a few constellation apps or night sky apps. One of them is called Sky Guide. Another one is like Star Guide. I mean, it's super simple names, and just, you can totally download that on your phone. If you guys want to use a Sky Gazer's Almanac, you can definitely use that. They are available online for free. Actually, let me try and pull one up for you guys really quick. So this one is for 2019. So this is, oh, my light bulb was so bright. This is what it'll look like, but it's so great because it's going to show you the time frame right here. So it's going to go from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. And, throughout the entire year, it's going to have, I'm just going to share this for you guys actually on my video. So we're looking at it together, and you can see I remember in astronomy class, us being able to track like where certain things were, and we'd go out in the night sky and like look at like the different phases of the moon, which constellations were rising, what time of the year they were rising. This is just so handy because it's going to show you, it's showing you mainly events such as like the planets when they're transiting overhead. So like, I really recommend Sky Map or Star Guide. Both of those apps are like really awesome because it'll show you just where the constellation is going to be visible and at what time, and when it'll end visibility. So I actually have like complete overcast out here of clouds, and so I probably wouldn't be able to see anything tonight, but it does say when exactly it's going to be setting. So it also like guides you. If like you type in the constellation, it'll like direct you of which way to turn the phone and turn yourself to be able to see it in the night sky, which is really cool. But if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, this is one of the biggest star maps that I found on the internet. It's the equatorial star map, so showing everything that is along the equator, and it's showing you like, yeah, a lot of constellations. So you guys can definitely like play with this, check it out. But either way, on April 29th, get up at 5:56 a.m. and that's Eastern time. So depending on wherever you guys are on the planet, it'll probably be earlier or later. It's going to be around 3 a.m. my time. So great. And yeah, alrighty. So I hope you all get to go check out this asteroid. I think it's going to be pretty cool to see in the night sky. I don't actually think I ever can remember seeing anything passing overhead, because I've always been in New York my whole life. So I'd love to see something like this because, yeah, I just haven't. But anyway, all right. Bye, everyone.